A researcher once rented a penthouse in Manhattan so he could interview 9 millionaires in one room. He had spent his career studying wealthy people, and he wanted to do this properly, so he hired a caterer. He put out 4 kinds of pate. He opened 2 cases of very good Bordeaux. The first man arrived. He was 69 years old. He had built a business from nothing, and he was worth millions. The researcher offered him a glass of the Bordeaux. The man said he drank scotch and 2 kinds of beer, Free and Budweiser. The others arrived, and not one of them touched the pate. They ate the crackers, they drank the beer. They answered questions for 2 hours while several $100s of French wine sat on the table, untouched. That evening is where the book begins, because the researcher had just been taught something it took him years to fully accept. He had prepared for the wealthy people he imagined. The wealthy people who actually showed up were somebody else entirely. He went looking for millionaires in the neighborhoods where you would expect to find them. The big houses, the good zip codes, the imported cars in the driveways, and he kept coming up empty. The people in those houses had the cars and the addresses and the wardrobes. What most of them did not have was money. So he widened the search and he found them somewhere else. He found them in ordinary suburbs, in houses they had owned for 20 years, driving vehicles that were 3 or 4 years old. The millionaire was not the man in the mansion. He was the neighbor, the one nobody looked at twice. And once you see why, you cannot unsee it. Here is the distinction the whole book rests on, and almost nobody makes it. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. They are not the same thing. They are barely related. A man earning a great deal of money and spending all of it is not wealthy. He is well paid. And being well paid is a condition that ends the moment the paychecks do. The authors needed a way to measure this, so they built one. Take a person's age, multiply it by their yearly income before tax, divide by 10. That is roughly what someone in their position ought to have accumulated by now. Hold your net worth up against that number, and you land in one of 2 groups. The people who come in far under it, the authors called under-accumulators of wealth. The people who come in far over it, they called prodigious accumulators. And here's the part that stings. The 2 groups are frequently the same profession, the same city, and the same paycheck. Picture the 2 men the research kept finding side by side. Both are 50, both earn a good living. On paper, they are the same person. The first one looks the part. The house is in the neighborhood people mention by name. The car is new and it is replaced before it is ever old. The clothes are correct. The holidays get photographed. The second one you would walk straight past. The house is fine and nothing more. The truck has years on it. Nobody has ever asked him where he got his jacket. Run both of them through the equation. The first one comes in under, sometimes badly under. Almost everything he earns has already been committed to keeping the picture intact. The second one comes in over, often several times over. Same age, same income, same city, same year. The difference was never what came in, it was what got to stay. There is a Texas expression the book uses for the first group. Big hat, no cattle. Everything on the outside, nothing in the barn. The researchers found doctors and lawyers and executives with impressive incomes and almost nothing behind them. And they found people with ordinary incomes in unglamorous trades who had quietly built more than any of them. Business owners, contractors, people who sold things nobody dreams about selling. And the businesses were not glamorous. Paving contractors, pest control, welding, mobile home parks, scrap metal, rebuilding diesel engines. Nobody grows up dreaming about any of it, but the research kept turning up the same shape. A dull business, run well for 30 years, by somebody who never needed it to look impressive. And there is a reason those trades show up so often. Nobody was watching. Nobody expects the man who paves parking lots to look wealthy, so he never had to. A great many of them were also the first in their family to have anything at all. No inheritance, no head start, no name that opened a door. What they had was a long run of ordinary decisions that nobody applauded and nobody interrupted. One of the clearest stories in the book is about a car. A man was offered a Rolls-Royce, free, no strings on it at all. He turned it down, not because he could not have afforded to keep it, because of everything else it would have obliged him to become. He would need clothes that matched it. He would need somewhere secure to park it. He would need to think about where he took it and who saw him in it. The car was free. The life the car required was not. He understood something the people in the big houses had never worked out. A purchase is rarely just a purchase. It sets a standard, and the standard has to be paid for afterward. Every year, forever. That is why the accumulators drove what they drove. Not sports cars, pickup trucks, and sedans, and vehicles bought used from somebody who had already absorbed the worst of the depreciation. Roughly half of them had never paid more than about $400 for a suit, or more than $235 for a watch, or more than $140 for a pair of shoes. These are people who could have bought almost anything. They bought the ordinary thing, and they did it on purpose. Because every dollar spent looking successful is a dollar that never gets the chance to grow. That is the whole trade, and it is invisible. Nobody sees the money you did not spend. They only see the car. Now, the uncomfortable part, and it is the part of the book people argue with, the authors found that a great many high earners were quietly funding their adult children. A down payment here, a car there, school fees, a gap covered and then covered again. They gave it a name, economic outpatient care, and they found something nobody wanted to hear. The more money adult children received, the less they tended to build on their own. Not because they were lazy, because the subsidy set a standard of living their own income could not carry. So they lived at the level the gifts allowed, and the gap between what they earned and what they spent was filled by somebody else, which meant two households were being drained, not one. The accumulators handled it differently. They spent on education and on capability, and they were careful about spending on lifestyle. One builds a person who can carry themselves. The other builds a person who cannot. There is a habit underneath all of this, and it is the least glamorous thing in the entire book. They knew their numbers. They budgeted. They planned. They set aside real hours every month to manage what they had. The people who looked rich, very often, did not know what they were worth. They had never sat down and worked it out. And you cannot manage a number you have never measured. The book is nearly 30 years old now, and parts of it have aged. Some of the data is dated. Housing changed, markets changed. People have argued with the conclusions ever since. The center of it did not age at all. Wealth, for most people who have it, was not luck and was not a windfall. It was unremarkable discipline, repeated for a very long time, by somebody willing to be underestimated. And that is the actual offer here. So be clear about what it is and what it is not. This is not a promise about what your life will look like. It is a measurement you are currently not taking. Add up everything you own. Subtract everything you owe. Write the number down somewhere you will see it. Most people never do this once. The people in this book did it constantly. That is the difference the research kept finding. Underneath the houses and the cars and the watches. Not what they made, what they kept. If this was useful to you, subscribe and take a second to like the video so it reaches somebody else who needs it. And leave a comment with the one thing you are going to stop paying for. Everything else is at rhinoworks.ai.